Let me ask you something real. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like everyone already made up their mind about you before you even spoke a word? That invisible energy, that silent judgment, that's your reputation, speaking louder than your voice ever could. I learned this the hard way. I was 22, I had a solid job, some early success, and a reputation for being dependable. Then, one mistake, just one, something I didn't even do. But I stayed silent. I thought truth would naturally rise. It didn't. By the time I realized what was happening, the damage was already done. People whispered. Some stopped replying. Doors closed without a sound. And I remember standing there thinking, but they know me. No, they knew my reputation. And when that cracked, everything else crumbled with it. That's why I'm here, to tell you, the fifth law of power from Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power isn't just some fancy idea. It's survival. It's the difference between being respected and being forgotten, between controlling your narrative or letting others write your story. If you're someone who dares to be more than average, if you're someone who won't settle for just being nice while others manipulate your image, then you need this law like a sword in winter. Let's dive into 11 raw truths about protecting your reputation. Because if you lose it, you lose everything. Number 1, your reputation is your shadow. It moves before you enter the room. Before you even open your mouth, shake someone's hand, or walk through the door, your reputation has already arrived. It's like your shadow. It goes ahead of you, announces your presence, and influences how people react to you long before you get a chance to show who you really are. Imagine you're going in for a job interview. You think you're being evaluated based on your performance in the room. But in reality, they've already Googled you. They've read your social media posts, checked who you've worked with, and maybe even asked around. You don't even know it, but a silent story about you has already been written. Whether fair or unfair, it's being a word. This is why you need to become the author of that story. You need to consciously craft the impression you want to leave behind. Just like a sculptor carves a statue with purpose, you must shape your reputation with clarity and consistency. Think of it like branding. Companies spend millions to create a consistent image in people's minds. You should treat your personal brand with the same seriousness. Consider the legacy of Alexander the Great. Long before he arrived in new cities, his reputation as an undefeated conqueror had traveled ahead of him. People surrendered before battle because his name alone inspired awe and fear. That kind of reputation isn't an accident. It's built, curated, and protected at all costs. So remember, the world doesn't always meet you. It meets your name, your digital trail, your past, and the words people whisper about you. Make sure that what greets them works in your favor, not against you. Number 2, one crack can destroy a castle. It doesn't matter how strong a fortress looks. A single crack in the foundation can bring the whole thing crashing down. Your reputation works the same way. You could spend 10 years building trust, credibility, and respect, but all it takes is one bad decision, one rumor, one foolish moment caught on camera, and it can all vanish in an instant. Take Lance Armstrong, once hailed as a symbol of human resilience and athletic greatness. After beating cancer and winning 7 Tour de France titles, his reputation seemed invincible. But once the truth about his doping came out, everything collapsed. Sponsors dropped him, titles were stripped, and a once heroic figure became a cautionary tale. One crack destroyed an empire. The real danger is that sometimes the crack doesn't even come from your actions. It can come from a misunderstood joke, a manipulated headline, or a jealous competitor spreading lies. And once that doubt is planted in people's minds, it spreads like wildfire. Suddenly, your integrity is questioned, and people begin to distance themselves. Not because they're sure you did wrong, but because they don't want your stain to rub off on them. You have to become hyper-aware. Protect your name like it's a glass sculpture. Don't make reckless jokes in public. Don't get caught in situations that can be misinterpreted. One moment of carelessness can outweigh a lifetime of discipline. That may sound unfair, but it's reality. Power respects control, and part of that control is protecting your reputation from even the possibility of a crack. Number 3, silence is not always noble. It can be fatal. People often say, take the high road, don't respond to lies, silence is power. That's true, but only up to a point. In the world of power, silence isn't always a sign of wisdom. Sometimes it's interpreted as guilt, weakness, or even arrogance. And when people don't hear your side of the story, they'll make up their own, or worse, believe someone else's version. I once believed that if someone spread lies about me, staying silent would show maturity. I thought people would see through the drama and respect me for rising above it. But instead, what they saw was doubt. They wondered if the silence meant I had something to hide. And the more I stayed quiet, the louder the lies became. Look at the case of Richard Nixon. When the Watergate scandal first emerged, he tried to downplay it, deny it, and remain silent on key issues. That silence wasn't interpreted as dignity. It was seen as deceit. The more he avoided direct confrontation, the more people assumed the worst. That silence cost him the presidency. The hard truth is this: your enemies count on your silence. They know that while you sit back, hoping the truth will defend itself, their version of events is shaping public opinion. In this game, the loudest voice often wins, even when it's not the honest one. That doesn't mean you have to respond to every rumor or attack, but you do need to speak strategically. Be calm, be clear, and be compelling. Defend your name like your future depends on it, because sometimes it does. Number 4, people want simplicity. Give them a clear identity. Humans are wired to simplify the world. We don't like complexity. We like clear categories, short labels, and easy answers. When someone thinks about you, they want to instantly know what you're about. If you're constantly changing your tone, style, message, or personality, people won't see you as deep. They'll see you as unstable. Let me give you an example. Oprah Winfrey. She's done hundreds of different things over the decades: interviews, books, philanthropy, acting. But her identity has always been consistent. She's the empathetic guide, the woman who listens, heals, and uplifts. That one-line reputation is so strong that even if she tries something new, people still trust her because her core image is rock solid. On the other hand, think of someone you know who changes constantly. One day they're motivational, the next they're negative. One month they stand for loyalty, the next they betray a friend. You start to feel confused. You don't know who they really are, and when you're confused, you withdraw your trust. That's why you need to craft a personal identity that people can grasp immediately. Be the man who keeps his word. Be the woman who never breaks under pressure. Be the calm one, the fixer, the creative mind, or the silent strategist. Choose your core image and own it. Let your name evoke one clear emotion or idea, because if people don't know how to define you, they'll define you in a way that benefits them, not you. Number 5, protect yourself from association with the wrong people. You might be honorable, you might follow the rules, speak the truth, and protect your name. But if you're seen with the wrong people, none of that will matter. The dirt on them will splash onto you, and suddenly your clean reputation won't look so clean anymore. Think of Al Capone's lawyer, Louis Easy Eddie O'Hare. He was a brilliant legal mind who never committed violent crimes himself, but he worked for Capone, and that association tainted him. The public saw him as part of the criminal empire, no matter how technically clean he was. Eventually, even his own son grew up with shame over the connection. That's the power of association. It doesn't matter what you did, it matters who you stand next to. Even in modern life, this plays out. If you're seen collaborating with known scammers, manipulators, or toxic people, your value drops, not because of what you did, but because of what others assume. Guilt by association is real, and in the court of public opinion, perception is reality. This is why you must be ruthless about your circle. Choose allies who elevate your name, not stain it. Work with people who are admired, trusted, and respected. Their shine will reflect onto you, just as their scandals will. Make your circle a mirror of your highest values, because whether you like it or not, you are judged by the company you keep. Number 6, rebuild when needed, but never beg. Your reputation may take a hit someday. Even the most cautious, disciplined people get smeared, misunderstood, or falsely accused. But when that happens, don't break down, don't panic, and above all, don't beg, because the moment you start pleading for people to believe in you, you hand them power. And power, once surrendered, is hard to reclaim. Instead, rebuild, quietly, relentlessly, not with emotional outbursts but with undeniable results. Take the story of Robert Downey Jr. He went from being known as Hollywood's most promising actor to being seen as unreliable and troubled, with his name tied to addiction and arrests. People wrote him off. But he didn't beg for acceptance. He didn't go on a pity tour. He rebuilt in silence. He trained, sobered up, took smaller roles, and slowly earned his way back into credibility. And then, boom, he became Iron Man. Not because he asked people to believe in him, but because he gave them no choice. Power isn't in saying, please believe me. Power is in making them say, I was wrong to doubt you. So if your reputation ever falls, whether through your fault or someone else's, stand tall. Don't explain. Don't justify. Show them. Because redemption is not about words, it's about evolution. Be better, do better, and let your results silence the world. Number 7, reputation is leverage in silence. There will come a time when you can't speak, when you're being accused, misunderstood, or quietly pushed aside, and it won't be your voice that defends you. It'll be your reputation. A strong reputation is like an army that fights for you while you sleep. Even when you're not in the room, it speaks for you. Imagine this. You're up for a promotion, and someone tries to sabotage you behind closed doors. They whisper doubts into the decision-maker's ear, trying to make you look unstable or unworthy. But instead of those doubts landing, the room goes quiet. Because the people listening already know you. They've seen your work, your consistency, your integrity, and without you saying a word, someone says, no way, that doesn't sound like him at all. That's reputation at work. That's leverage without noise. Look at Nelson Mandela during his years in prison. Though physically silenced and isolated, his reputation grew across the world. People who had never met him spoke on his behalf. Why? Because his name stood for resilience, peace, and principle. When he was finally released, his reputation had more power than 1,000 speeches. So ask yourself, is your name strong enough to fight for you when your voice is gone? Because when things get ugly, the only thing that may stand between you and destruction is the story people already believe about you. Number 8, what you post is who you are. In the digital world, your reputation isn't just shaped by what you say in person, it's built on what you post online. Instagram, YouTube, X, Twitter, LinkedIn, they're not just platforms, they're billboards. And every photo, every caption, every tweet is either building your image or tearing it down. Too many people treat social media like a joke, forgetting that employers, investors, romantic partners, even enemies are watching. Every post is a public declaration of what you value, what you think, and how you behave. You might not see the damage immediately, but the internet has a long memory, and the court of public opinion never forgets. Consider how Elon Musk uses Twitter. Whether you admire or criticize him, you know one thing. His posts reflect a strong personal brand. They're calculated, polarizing, sometimes chaotic, but always aligned with the image he wants to project. A bold, rebellious innovator who doesn't care what the system thinks. Now ask yourself, does your online presence align with the reputation you want? Or is it full of randomness, emotional outbursts, and insecure flexing? If someone judged your entire character by your last 10 posts, would they see power or weakness? Remember, every post is a brushstroke in the portrait of your name. Make sure it's a masterpiece, not a mess. Number 9, people will test you. Respond with strategy, not emotion. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Some people exist only to test you. They throw shade, make subtle digs, question your authority, or even mock you, just to see if you'll react. Because the moment you react emotionally, you lose. They want to see you lose composure. Because when you snap, you look weak, you look unstable, and suddenly your reputation becomes about your reaction, not your record. This is why emotional control is the cornerstone of power. You don't need to be a robot, but you must learn to pause, think, analyze, then respond with strategy. Take a lesson from Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor. He was insulted, plotted against, and betrayed, but he rarely lashed out. Instead, he responded with quiet power. His enemies feared him, not because he shouted, but because he didn't need to. His calm was his weapon, and it works today too. Let's say someone tries to humiliate you in front of others, maybe in a meeting or online. Instead of defending yourself emotionally, you ask a powerful question, expose a logical flaw, or simply smile and say, "You've said enough." That calm dominance makes people respect you more than any angry rant ever could. Remember, when someone attacks your name, they're not just testing your facts, they're testing your frame. Hold the frame, control the room, because if they can't shake you, they can't shape you. Number 10, don't be liked, be respected. There is a dangerous trap in this world, being liked. It sounds innocent, it sounds kind, but if you chase it, you'll lose yourself. Because to be liked, you have to please everyone. And to please everyone, you have to compromise. You'll start saying yes when you mean no, apologizing for things you didn't do, and shaping yourself into whatever form they desire. In doing so, you become forgettable. But respect is different. Respect is earned by being true to who you are, even when it's unpopular. Respect is built through boundaries, through strength, through consistency. People may not always like you, but they'll think twice before crossing you. And that's far more valuable. Look at Steve Jobs. He wasn't known for being a nice guy. He was demanding, intense, and sometimes ruthless. But he was respected. People followed him, invested in him, and worked to the bone for his vision. Not because he made them feel good, but because he made them believe. When you aim to be liked, you make yourself small. When you aim to be respected, you make yourself unforgettable. So ask yourself, do you want applause that fades or a legacy that stands? Number 11. Reputation is not about being perfect, it's about being predictable. Perfection is a myth. People don't need you to be flawless, they need you to be reliable. They need to know what to expect when your name comes up. That's what builds real trust. Predictability is the foundation of reputation. Take Warren Buffett. He's not flashy, he doesn't try to be everything to everyone, but he's consistent. Year after year, his name evokes discipline, logic, and ethical investing. He doesn't have to chase attention. His name is the standard, not because he's perfect, but because he's predictable. On the flip side, people who are constantly reinventing themselves, flip-flopping opinions, changing tones, those people confuse others. And confused people don't invest, don't trust, and don't follow. So make it your mission to be the person others can count on. If your name means always delivers, never cracks, or tells the truth no matter what, then your reputation becomes a fortress, and a fortress doesn't fall with the wind. Here's the truth you can't ignore. In every room you enter, your reputation arrives before you do. It speaks louder than your words, it travels faster than your actions, and once it's damaged, it's nearly impossible to repair. This law, it's not optional, it's the foundation. Protect your name like your life depends on it, because in the world of power, it does. You see, average people drift through life hoping to be understood. But you're not built for average. You're here because you feel it deep down, that hunger for control, respect, and legacy. This is your moment. From this point forward, you don't just exist, you command presence. You don't react, you strategize, you don't beg for validation, you become undeniable. So ask yourself right now, is your name your weapon or your weakness? Because if it's not your strongest asset yet, it's time to fix that. Fast. And if this message sparked something inside you, if it lit even a small fire, subscribe, tap the bell icon, and comment below. My name is my power. This is more than a video. This is the beginning of your journey. The season where weak reputations die and legends are born. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be remembered. Let's make them remember.